Alright, so starting as usual, a little bit of mineral spirits onto my 9 by 12 inch cotton canvas panel. Those of you that are watching this live, I know this is random. The timing is really random, but I got the place to myself. And I won't have the place to myself tomorrow. So I didn't want to miss too many days in a row with my portrait sketches. So without further delay, let's get a move on here with number 15. I think we're on 15, unless I miscounted. I decided I'm going to incorporate the hat and the hair down here. Again, this is a copyright free reference, and I will post the picture on my Patreon for free if you want to paint along with the link to this stream. Alright, so I'm thinking of the composition. I'm drawing with black and cadmium red. Alright, so that's about where I want the hat to fit. Yeah, so I got the place to myself because, long story short, I had to help Lucy set up for a craft fair. So she's with her mom doing a craft fair event. And I am not a socialite or like social person, so I just do the heavy work, heavy lifting, and then I go help to take it down. So that's why I got the place to myself. Top of the head, bottom of the head. I won't incorporate the hands. Appreciate the light. Hope everyone's weekend is going well. Alright, so I've centered the head somewhat here. And yeah, this is the composition that I wanted. I went to Paint from Life yesterday. Drove about nearly 2 hours to get there. Traffic was really bad. So as usual, these are very improv streams. So if you're looking for like a super step-by-step, maybe check out my videos with the word tutorial in them, where I kind of label everything in terms of steps. This is a whole different series. You know, this is just portrait sketches, practicing. Alright, so now that I got the composition, I'm gonna go in with the darks first. Darks for the hair. Mark L, welcome. Thanks for joining on this random Sunday. Isn't there like football or something like that people watch? I'm not really that big into sports. I don't know. Did you do any plein air painting this weekend, Mark? Yeah, so this stream, if all goes well, will be the usual 2 hours. hey, come here. I think that's a holiday, right? Happy holiday. Yeah, that's why I don't have the space to myself tomorrow, because Lucy's got off work. So I won't have the place to myself. Alright, I'm gonna go on with the shadow, a little bit of burnt sienna, and throw in some cerulean blue, maybe some cobalt blue. Hey Angus. Hey Gigi. Whoa, I didn't expect everyone to show up on this random Sunday. You know, if it were up to me, I would do these streams more frequently than I have been, but it's just I don't have the place to myself, and it's a small apartment, so yeah, there's that. I like these. This takes a little bit of the pressure off of, trying to do some kind of trendy tutorial video. I just want to paint. This is the first smiley picture. Model's got a smile. Usually I stay away from the smiles, but I decided if we're going to do that many of these portrait sketches, there's going to be some smiles in there eventually. Yeah, definitely didn't expect on a Sunday. You did a marathon day of painting yesterday. That's great. Painting from life, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then you painted a nocturne. Wow. That is a lot. Yeah, I unfortunately spent most of the day driving. My forehead's a little bit taller. I spent most of the day driving. It was horrible. I'm thinking of not going back. I actually got as far as I need to from life with the painting that I'm doing. It took me 2 sessions, but they're going to have that model for probably 2 months. And unless I do different paintings, I don't think I want to drive that much just to work on the same thing. Alright, there's a little bit of I can see it right here on the hat. Photographic distortion, I think it's what it is. It looks elongated. That picture looks elongated to me. So I'm going to edit that. Oh, Howling Dog Design, but on a different channel. It got blocked by YouTube? Oh no. Hopefully they don't block me. Hopefully they don't block me. I don't say or do anything for YouTube to... honestly, I feel like the algorithm's been trying to go after me for a while. But I don't know. Who knows these things? Sorry that your profile got blocked. That's bizarre. So now I guess we'll call you Cat Savage Art, or aka Owling Dog Design. Yeah, honestly, I think it's my camera. I've got 3 different lights on here. I don't know. I think my camera might be going bad. I don't know. You know what I can do? Here, how about this? I can use my streaming software and take off one of the light setting or dark settings. Alright, I don't know if that changes anything. It might have made it worse, because what I had was to correct a problem with the coloring. So now the coloring probably changed on you. Yeah, I hope it's better light. I'm not quite sure because, again, that filter I had was to make the light better. Or at least correct the color. Oh, you've done some landscapes and seascapes. I'm glad that your screen looks good over there. Yeah, so what I'm doing lately these days is as I work, I'm trying the best that I can to think a little bit about sports psychology. Um, Back in my day when I was playing pool, which wasn't that long ago, I, I heard a lot of stuff about like the subconscious and using your subconscious, you can perform your sport better, like a baseball swing or whatever. Think about things that happen really fast. Now painting is not like ultra fast, but what I'm experimenting with is kind of just painting without necessarily thinking too much or hardly at all about the process. And, with the approach, I'm kind of just letting it develop. I'm not really, like concerned about it looking a certain way at any point in time. So a little bit of, not being overly analytical about it. Yeah, mental practice. Yeah. Mark L. You deserve the pub lunch with friends after such a productive painting day. Yeah, like mental, especially with a live stream where you'd expect there to be a little bit of pressure. And there is, but it's not anywhere like it used to be. Just because I do these so frequently now. Which is not what anyone wants to hear from a video with a portrait painter. You'd expect someone to explain everything they're doing to you, but are doing for you. But I'm trying something different here, where you create your own experience. I will make some educational content on these videos for my Patreon students, I'm thinking of creating strategy guides for them. But this itself on its own is not, you know, meant to be super educational. So it's more just hanging out with me, talking about life. Yeah, I did. I amputated her left arm. Um, yeah, no, I'm not putting that arm in there. Yeah, I usually try to come up with my design before I stream. So that's a little bit more actually planning, thinking stuff, but not that much. I mean, it took me less than less than like 2 minutes to decide to crop this way. Some daylight blues over here. You know, it didn't take me that long to decide that I was gonna crop it. So now, looking at my image, I can see that that's, at least on my screen, I can see that that's too pink. And obviously, the background's gonna need something. I'm gonna go and get my phthalo. I'll be right back. So the phthalo I have is it's the alkyd, the Griffin alkyd. That's what I use. I mainly use alkyds. Not for this though. This is regular oil paints. But yeah, I don't have any phthalo in regular oil paints. I went through it all. Artistic editing license all day, every day. I'm a tad bit nervous about something. Yeah, Lucy's doing the craft fair, but she's selling some of my you know how we have the products like the hat. Of course, she's not selling the hat because I have it. Um, Along with her stuff at the craft fair, and that kind of makes me a little nervous because I know that people don't really care about art stuff unless they know of it directly. So I just didn't want to be there to go through all that. It's 1:18 p.m. in Maine. Oh, it's the same over here. You said you should have done that yesterday. I thought I would paint the model's hand. That was by her face. Oh, okay. Yeah, no. When you're working from life, save the hands for, like, the actual hands. And I did this yesterday. Keep them as like a blob, like as a, just draw this part, the knuckles and the thumb, but people are always going to move their hands naturally. And then once you decide to paint the hands, like the fingers and the position that the model's in, you have to work fast. You have to work with mass. The number one problem that I have seen for why people struggle painting hands is because they're too dependent on lines. That's what I've noticed. It's not the case for everybody, but everyone I've noticed that painting from life that struggles with hands is because they're too reliant on lines. And they're too focused on positioning the model in the exact place where they were. Because you're never going to, every single pose is going to be a little different. It's not like you're working like from, and this is why I try to show you to work like this. Because if she could move a little bit, right? If I was painting her in real life, she could move a little bit, but I have the freedom to select what I want compositionally without having to focus or be anchored by lines. You don't want to become overly dependent on the lines. Oh, cool! Your mom was able to do paint hands. That's cool. Yeah, it's definitely earlier for Mark in London right now than usual. I'm usually here at 3. That's why I kindly ask, if you're not subscribed and you haven't turned on notifications, please do so. Because I don't always stream at the same time. I'm wild like the wind. You never really know when I'm gonna be here. I'm free like the wind. That I am not. Only hands I could do are those on a clock. That's a good one. Oh man, I'm gonna use that one. I'm gonna use that one. Yeah, sorry if my head gets in the way a little bit more today. Lucy took my chair to the craft fair that she's doing, so I'm sitting on a box. So if this time around my head gets in the way too much, my bad. I'm trying to like keep my head to the left. And she took my chair, which is fine. She needs it. She's got some friends at the craft fair with her that are gonna sit at the booth with her. So it's all good. Alright, here's that smile. Not a big smile, but somewhat of a smile. Smile for the camera. We're gonna take a picture. Great blobs. There you go. Oh, I did guess it correctly. I used the force, didn't I? Said you were spending too much time chasing the moving fingers. The guy who runs the group also suggested I should paint a blob rather than paint a hand. Yeah, usually a place marker is good for where the hand is gonna go. But I usually don't commit to the fingers until later. Yeah, so these days I'm more focused with the nose and the mouth, even more so than the eyes at this stage. Kind of interesting. Because I'm looking at it as the center of the head. It's not going to be the same for everybody. And like I said, when I do create the strategy guides, what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trace out the outlines for um, whichever of these portrait sketches I choose. And I'm also going to map out the proportional markers for you. So it'll be a printout. That's what I've got in the works going on. Of course, I don't use it. As you see, I'm just freehand everything. But I think it's a good guideline for, anyone that wants to get like those perfect proportions. Yeah, thinking of them as shapes does help too. You said there's a reason you usually avoid hands. Oh yeah. Oh no, we all do. I mean, so anytime you incorporate hands in a painting, especially if it's from life, I would always suggest saving the fingers for like close to the end, because you can always just rework it later. You can use your own hands. I've done that before. You can use your own hands to position. A lot of artists do that. They probably won't admit it, but they do. If you have the time at the end, the last 20 or 30-minute session, then by all means, go for it. Hold on. Hugo's having a nightmare. Hugo. Since I'm not using too many alkyds, I can bring this little guy in here. He's having a nightmare. I don't know if your dog ever does that thing where they like do woof, woof, woof when they're asleep, but yeah. Alright, let's move you around. Like I said, pretty improv. We took him to the craft fair, or to set it up today. And I kid you not, people kept saying, how much for the dog? How much for the... Man, you can give me $1 million. I'm not giving you my Shiba. You can give me $10 million. I won't give you my Shiba. Yeah, I think he's okay. Angus, he says, your method at this stage to get the tonal values correct rather than the color. Yeah, I think so. Remember in the beginning, I said that I'm trying to think less about the process and try to be a little bit more like free. So I'm basically just painting what I see, and basically whatever I feel is what I'm painting. I don't feel like painting the eyes just yet, so I won't paint them. Oh, thanks, Howling Dog Design. So yes, I know I'm gonna have to make this part up, but we've done enough portraits. We can make that up. Not a big deal. Yeah, and my Shiba is the reason that I'm still using spike lavender, even though it's expensive. It's less uh, harmful for the air quality. Right, she does have a lot of hair. I'm gonna paint that in there soon. Actually, that was the next step I was gonna do. Spike lavender. Only ever a drop of spike lavender at a time. Yeah, so this is a new thing I've been trying to do. And like I said, I paint every single day. And so when you work every single day, you really can't be um, overly conscientious about your process, as weird as that sounds. Because I think that that'll lead, being overly conscientious about it, I think will lead to burnout. Now, obviously, my goal is to sell these at some point in the future, or exhibit them all together. Whether I have, we're on 15. Whether we show 15 of them or 150 of them. But this is my idea. This is my theory, right? And if this actually comes to be, then I'm somewhat of a prophet. My theory is that AI is going to get so good that even a portrait tutorial channel is not safe, because they're just going to be able to replicate. But what they can't replicate, I don't think they will ever be able to replicate, is the human connection. That's what I'm, trying to do, is just, be my honest self. Yeah, some may find me to be really boring, but it's just something that AI won't be able to do until it can. Hey, another person online? Yeah, kind of. Angus, I did somewhat dry brush it, but to get, like, say that, I used my spike lavender. But yeah, that's mainly dry brush, and it's also the higher quality brushes to some extent. These are my Silverbrush Grand Prix. Another person online, you stayed up way too late painting. You know, I kind of did stay up too. Don't feel bad. Because I spent so much time driving yesterday, my goodness. To go paint from life in Baltimore from Alexandria. It took me, oh my goodness. It took me nearly 2 hours each time. Traffic was just beyond terrible yesterday. So that's why I just continued to paint when I finally got home. I think I painted until 12 a.m. and then that was it. Alexandria, right? I know. I came all the way from Egypt. I drove all the way from Alexandria, Egypt to Baltimore, Maryland. No, no. Alexandria, Virginia. I'm thinking of maybe trying to start up a group to do portraits. Because there's one group in Lorton, that's actually where Lucy is, doing the craft fair at the moment, at the same, it's called Workhouse. Um, I don't know. Have any of you ever started up a painting session, an open life session? I've always just kind of inherited them from people that couldn't continue them anymore. I never started one. I kind of like this low key life though, where I just press the stream button and paint and just kind of do my own thing. As I'm not the best socialite person to run into. Yeah, I've never started a group like that. And I'll be honest, I don't really want the super long poses that much anymore. Because I think I'm finally getting to a point with these portrait sketches that, a portrait sketch give me 3 more hours with the face and it's mostly done. What am I gonna do? Sit there, paint from life, and just work on the shoulder the whole day? That's gonna bore me. I just didn't want to. Oh, I'm glad the green undertone helps with the skin. Well, if you mean this tone, yeah, I try to use a gray, neutral gray with portraits. And with landscapes, I like to use a brown. Skin tones are usually warm. And landscapes are usually cool. Unless you're painting a sunset or something. Like I said, I usually start to develop it with the nose. Kind of a slow start with this, but now I can jump into development. Hey, Angel. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Owling Dog Design or Cat Savage Art. I'm trying to stick with just these two brushes. Why? I don't know, but when I was at the portrait, when I was painting from life yesterday, I don't know, I gotta tell you, I was a little bit bored. I painted with the one brush. I'll share the. And I think part of the reason I was bored was because I got stuck with a profile view. That's why I chose like a full composition with it, because I got a profile view, and I mean, I'm not gonna spend like 12 hours on a portrait of a profile view. Okay, so here's something interesting. That was something we were talking about last time, or in the portrait group yesterday. Art club activities. Oh, cool, Angel. Hopefully that was fun. So what I was talking about with or I kind of just overheard a conversation yesterday at the group where they paint from life, and I know they don't watch these streams, so I can say whatever I want. They're not. I mean, I mean, no harm to any of them, but yeah, they're talking about like specific color palettes, and you know, luckily for me, I was trained by Henry Henchy students. Every plane change is a color change, so I can summarize color in painting for you in a very, very simple way. And I'm not trying to sell anything to you, but every plane change is a color change. You work with hues. If you get the right color, you get the right value. That's pretty much it, because color has hue, value, and chroma. So I'm actually seeing shapes of color, but I have values in the back of my mind. When you're working from life, or when you're painting in general, you should never limit your palette to a golden, like the Zorn palette or 6-color palette, or you should have every color available to you on your palette. Modern chemistry is there for you to make the best stuff you can. And a palette should be like a piano where you just exist. You don't have to think like how to like mix something or like how to create a certain color, because they were getting into recipes. And of course I didn't say anything like, you know, don't do that, because I'm the last person that's going to like basically mansplain to someone in a painting group. I just sit there quietly and I work and I leave. But yeah, it's just something I overheard about color. Hey, you wrote, been able to access your demos due to location. Uh-oh. Am I banned somewhere? Uh-oh. Or maybe it's internet. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like my attitude about the free form. Um, that's what I'm actively really trying to to pursue, and it's not so much a how to paint, but it's also kind of like life. Like if you can find a, not to get all um, metaphysical or whatever, but like if you can activate like that inner silence in your mind in the face of adversity, whether you're in traffic and people are inches away from head-on collision and like whatever life throws at you, if you have a way to activate like that inner silence or peace, all of a sudden I think you're just more in control, because it's about conquering um, it's about conquering pleasure and pain. Naturally we have a fear of pain, and all we want is the pleasures of life, like the money, the good food, all these things, the highs and lows. We chase the highs and then we get stuck with the lows. Painting it can be somewhat like practicing life, like I don't know, trying to be stress free. Oh, so no cell service over there. Even as a content creator, I mean, it's a tough world. That's why a lot of people, I think, just don't continue it. It's a tough world trying to be yourself in a world where there's robots in reels where they know exactly how to make people laugh and follow them and create their own AI content, and it's a tough world. Gotta keep the faith. Keep the faith. Not in a religious, I'm not saying in a religious way, but like in yourself. Of course, everyone can, have whichever beliefs they want. That ain't what this is about. Amy Kuzka, I'm doing all right. How you doing? Just streaming here on a random Sunday because I got the place to myself. And I'm streaming today because I won't have the place to myself tomorrow. So I won't be able to stream. And I didn't want to miss too many days. Thanks for all the likes, everybody. Really happy to have you here on this random Sunday. Alright, here I'm gonna have to switch to a smaller brush, but let me knock this out and then we'll small brush here and take that to a finish. So let's get another brush. Which one was this? Okay, this was for this color. I'll just fill this in. This is just a cheap brush that Lucy got from the thrift store. I got like, I don't know, I want to say like 100 of these. I like them for, let me leave something here for my pinky. Alright, so I'll rest my pinky there. So I use them for my outfits mainly. My fast dryers. Always leave some space there for your pinky. Yeah, this would be considered alla prima, meaning working with wet paint. Wet on wet paint. I could almost put a fake mountain scene in the background. Hey, Libertas. Leave that space for the pinky. Get another one of those cheap brushes for this right here. The light. We are painting the light. Let there be light. But don't just paint bright oranges and blues. Look at your shapes of colors in relation to one another. And the best way to get better with color is not to simply do portrait, but do outdoor color studies with as many colors as you can afford to have on your palette. And you will see that you will build a response to color, not simply a recipe for color. Being able to paint with color does not mean that you have to know the Munsell or all of the color theory. Yeah, you can leave theory to the scientists, but in the practical world of painting shapes of color in relation to one another, look at colors as hues in relation to one another. Or at least that's what my teachers told me. But you want color to be a response. One of the best exercises would be to paint a white block. Get a block, a brick, or whatever, paint it white, and paint that in the sunlight. Morning light, afternoon light, evening light. Paint the shapes of color in relation to one another. And then you will see that the entire thing is in fact color relationships. Not just painting the local color of something. Yeah, I know. As soon as I talk about color relationships and stuff like that, many color theorists or color people that rely on Munsell or something like that leave right away. Artists are sensitive, man. But you are free to do what you want to do. Yeah, Alla Prima means at first, yeah. Yeah, that's what I typically do with these. Well, I guess I always do with these. And I just like the 2 hour. Ah, crap. I gotta save that space for my finger. But I like the 2 hour time frame. Because it's just enough time for me to make a big mistake. Or to do something completely new. $2 for a portrait is, or for a face is pretty good. The pressure is always there. Because 2 hours is relatively short time. Now, I'm not a purist when it comes to the Henry Henchy school of painting, but I do follow this simple principle that every plane change is a color change. So still got an hour, so our timing is still alright. Okie dokie, there's the background. Now we'll switch to some smaller brushes and paint in the eyes. Starting with upper eyelid. You know, even still at this stage, I'm not really that analytical about it. I'm trying to keep all the technical stuff in the back of my mind. As an everyday working artist, my goal is freedom. No need to have to plan exactly how I'm gonna paint anything. I just want to kind of just react to the paint. Just tough to do with, especially with portraiture, because it's so critique heavy. Everyone's so critical about it. Oh, thanks, Angus. Thank you. Hope you have a great time with your family. Yeah. I have not tried Graham's Alkyd Titanium. I didn't even know that they had one. I didn't know. I use Griffin from Winsor Newton. But this is not Alkyd, this is regular oil paints. These are regular oil paints. Regular, everyday, normal oil paints. And here's just something that I noticed, again, not to criticize any techniques or any artists. And I've done it all, man. I've done it all. I've done the full classical approach with the transfer drawing. I've spent the thousands of hours doing the atelier type homework where you do cast drawings, cast paintings, draw the bargs, right? Everybody draws the bargs. But when you reach a level of freedom in painting where mistakes become part of the process, kind of just like Bob Ross, right? We just have happy accidents. there's such a fear in placing something in the wrong spot when working too carefully. Maybe be a little less careful. I don't mean careless, but experiment with, I don't know, just being a little bit more free. Paint often. The secret is to just, you know, just do it. As whenever you have time, just like Nike, just do it. Yeah, again, I'm a little cautious with the forehead because I know it's. Um, I see the photographic distortion on this. Oh, oops! He accidentally tagged someone. Someone else. That's okay. These days I've been using Pixabay and Unsplash. Pixabay or Unsplash. They're just copyright free references. Yeah, and I actually kind of like the variety of pictures. Once you get past the fact that you're painting from some random copyright free image, you see, it's not so much about the person that you're painting, it's more about the humanity of, I don't know, the geometry in the faces, I guess. Yeah, it's easier to paint when it's not personal. Yeah, that autocorrect was pretty funny. That autocorrect was pretty good. It got you there. Yeah, it's easier when it's not personal. Don't know who the model is. You can really just focus on technique. It's okay. You know, this is the passion for painting. Remember, I always say more more passion, more energy, more brushwork, right? Um, this is the passion in painting, where you have the discipline to work, even if the world around you is crumbling, or, for example, for me, like, I just don't have the place to myself to work, to stream. Obviously, I can paint without streaming. I do that all the time, right? But um, I like this interaction, and I want to create a consistency with these videos, even with the title. Although I might put Yupari's portrait sketch in oil colors. I might have to change that part at some point. But I want them all to be just the same thing, but 1, 2, 3, whatever. However many of these we do. Like I said, don't be afraid to don't fear the mistakes in painting. Like, obviously I could see that the neck, right, has to move to the left. You know, make the drawing, in my opinion, make the drawing process fun and obvious. When there's nothing but lines or values without color, it's harder for me to see where things need to be moved, and then emotions get in the way. Whereas where we're thinking about, you know, trying to get it just right so we can put in the right tone, sometimes it's best to just wing it. And then when you have something on your surface, draw with something. Have something there. I knew to move the neck over there because I had something to work with. Painting is not like, it's not like sculpture, or not literally like sculpture, where you have to measure twice and cut once, because you can't go and add more marble or whatever to your sculpture. It's not literally like that. You can move stuff. I knew I needed to move that. I could see it. Living in Virginia, should have bought a lower cost house out in the field. I mean, if I could just get away from Virginia, I would. Northern Virginia. I mean, it's just, they're building a hospital right across from this apartment building. The traffic and the construction is just so bad. So bad. Yeah, no, I'm thinking of just getting once I have enough saved, who knows when that'll be, something else in another state. Alright, now I can cover that. I'm not going to rest my pinky there anymore. Watch, I'm going to end up resting my pinky there. Yeah, definitely. Having the two incomes out here helps. I mean, luckily I've got a pretty big commission. Not like huge, but a double portrait. And got some sales here and there. But yes, it's tough. It's a tough world after all. Another thing to be careful with these photographs is they blast the values like a lot. So be careful not to paint the values as light as you see them in the pictures. Oh, you did? Oh, awesome. I'm glad you did a pencil sketch of 14. Number 14. See, isn't it so much easier to name them like that? So much easier to keep track of them. Yeah, that one was tough. I didn't quite get the nose, or not the nose, the angle of the jaw. on that one. Well, 24 hours sometimes. Can't stand drawing buildings. I'd understand that after spending so much time looking at them. Oh, I'd understand that. You would think that I feel that way about faces, but I don't feel that way about faces. I kind of like the challenge and the puzzle. But, you know, maybe someday in the future I'll just not want to do like the portrait as much, and I might do landscapes, but who knows. I do have a newfound fascination for plein air painting. It's kind of fun to do, unless you're stuck in traffic for many hours. You do your own building ideas. Cool. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Yeah, that's true. I am painting without a corporate manager. That is true. Although Hugo is my corporate manager. He'll tell me sometimes when I need to paint a little better. Corporate manager Shiba Inu Hugo. Yeah, no, plein air is a lot of fun for sure. I also just like the like trying to find a spot. You know, I used to do extreme sports when I was a kid. So aggressive inline skating. And some of my friends are still do that in their 30s, but I don't think their 40s self is going to be too happy with that. But anyway, you know that when you're out like street skating, you always are out looking for spots like the next like big like obstacle to jump over or something like that. Just like on the lookout for a spot. And plein air feels kind of the same, looking for that spot, right? Or you can. To me, plein air painting is kind of a stunt. Like you're out there in the unknown, and who knows? I mean, anything could happen out there. It's kind of fun. Yeah, and just like before, I'm kind of saving the rendering stuff for last minute. Like I'm not worried about it. Not at all. Not like before. Before it was more frantic, especially like portraits sketch and oils number 3, I think. The first 5, I think I was a little frantic. I felt a little frantic. Probably didn't show it as much, but well, now it's whatever. That's whatever. And I can't. I'm actually excited to see what this is gonna be like after 20 of them. Right? We're on 15. I wonder what 20 is gonna be like. Oh, cool. Well, landscape painting. Sorry about your late father. Yeah, lots of tall. Although I kind of try to avoid the tall grass. I'm kind of a chicken like that. I'm a little bit of a chicken. I wish I had a camera crew with me to go out in the wilderness to do plein air. I wonder if Bob Ross ever did a plein air. I think Bill Alexander used to. Does anyone know if Bob Ross did any of his shows outdoors, like plein air? You're in your 40s and you do ice hockey. See, I'm 34 and I'm terrible of twisting an ankle. Like, but I mean, lately I've been using the treadmill more and trying to stay a little bit more active, walking and swimming. Oops, my bad. Keep moving my head. Told you I don't have my chair. I'm sitting on a box. So Lucy has my chair for the craft fair. I wonder if anyone bought any of my. She has my greeting cards with my picture, like my painting pictures of my paintings on them. I didn't want to. I didn't want to be there and just watch everyone walk away from them. Like I said, I'm not much of a people person. Like, I'm not the most sociable. Yeah, definitely. Still being taken advantage of for sure. I don't think he wanted to sell his name. Yeah, that's why I don't really work with anyone other than Lucy. Of course, Lucy has the power to take half of everything I have, which is pretty much a Diet Coke, a Shiba Inu, and an iPhone 13. But um, yeah, I trust her with everything. But yeah, nah, I don't want to partner with anyone. Like that's too scary. He said, would like a team of Sherpas to carry my gear, tent, cook, barbecue, and your coffee. That's cool. Yeah, that's the dream team. Don't say it. That's hilarious. Yeah, once I get rich and famous, yeah, Lucy won't have to do anything. Just help me take care of Hugo. Maybe she can manage my online merchandise stuff some more. Who knows? We're gonna be famous someday, don't worry. While I'm alive, too. I'll be famous. You'll see. The thing is to to be able to paint every day, stream often, and this is, I'm trying to constantly trying to improve. Sometimes it's more of a mental thing. Like with this was more calm, not really thinking about the steps, just kind of just seeing, I guess. Just reacting to the paint in a calm way. We shall get famous. Yeah, trolley little. Yeah, Lucy has one of those. That carry all the heavy stuff on the wheels. Yeah, a lot of people in this apartment do as well because it's a lot of walking to get around. Unfortunately. Here's a fun thing that I recently figured out. Not figured out, but just kind of became aware of. So wooden palettes are hands down number one, I'd say, for oil painting. Like, wooden palettes are the way to go. Um, However, not all wooden palette finishes are the same. So, for example, a handmade traditional one, like the one I have, I'm not using it right now, but the one that I call my Forever palette that I bought from a custom palette maker in Pennsylvania, he sealed it incredibly well with 10 coats of polyurethane. But, as it turns out, if you seal um, a wood palette with something like a polyurethane finish, it will not. And shellac, apparently, some of them are finished with shellac, actually will not change very much over time. So if you get just a cheap wooden palette, just like a cheap plywood one from the store with no finish, and you apply linseed oil and residue from your palette. So as you clean up your palette, put the residue from the rag on a wooden palette. Over the span of weeks to months, you will have legit a work of art surface palette to work on for not that much money, but a lot of effort. And it will continue to develop its so-called patina over time, which is different from these commercial finishes. Like, this is a new wave palette, although its finish actually does pick up a patina over time. So new wave's finish is actually really good at being similar to a linseed oil finish, because it does develop a patina. Like I said, these are really improv streams, improvised. So I'm telling you stuff that I know. Yeah, practice. So I'm glad you like the colors on the skin tones. Thank you. Alright, I know I had another brush. Whoops. I mixed up my light and shadow brush. Uh-oh. Yeah, so if you haven't started doing that yet, if you haven't started when you clean up your palette, just using the excess to prepare just a cheap wooden palette, or you just buy like some kind of whatever good like plywood or something, like a good one, and just prepare it, like just turn that into a routine. And I'm gonna buy a couple of other ones just as like unfinished palettes. It's actually pretty cool the way they evolve over time. Yeah, of course, Angels, like, yeah, any palette will work. I mean, you could paint on a dinner plate. You can paint on a slab of marble. Um, there's definitely something to the patina on a palette. I saw one video by Ryan Brown, the Florence Academy guy. I think he's Florence Academy. I don't know, but he compared it to like furniture, something like that, like good furniture. Although I've never really thought of palettes as furniture, but I guess furniture develops a patina as well over time. I didn't know. Just fun random stuff that I'm throwing out there for you. Appreciate all the likes, everybody. So I'm purposefully changing the forehead, which is it changes the likeness a little bit, but I don't like the distortion on the reference. And the double lighting thing here is a little bit difficult, because I do have to make these color relationships up. Because, of course, it's not from life. I'm saving the rendering for the last minute, because I don't know, I guess I'm really comfortable with it now. This portrait sketch thing. So those of you that are here live, what do you use as a paint palette? Question. I'm using a New Wave Posh tabletop palette. It's just it's a 9, I think it's 9 by 12 or no. I don't know. It's smaller than this canvas. Oh, cool. You've got the Bob Ross palette. The cheap wooden palettes. Wooden palettes. Hey, Suzanne. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you could join. Yeah, it turns out I won't have the place to myself tomorrow. Lucy's off work. But she's at a craft fair with some friends right now. She's selling stickers and other merchandise. And even some of my the postcards from my online shop. So I got the place to myself. Mark Ellie, you have a glass palette. You have a 9 by 12 wood palette. Oh, cool. I'm glad. You know, glass palettes is fine too, but it's always gonna be, the same. It's never gonna have a patina like wood. Like I said, it's good to have something on the canvas to work with, to draw. I'm moving this eye a little bit to the left. Yeah, and a change like that would have terrified me in the past, but not anymore. Not anymore. Oh, ceramic as in the floor. Yeah, that works too. Oh, thanks, Angus. How's the food preparations going? He said cabbage mechanic tonight. No evidence of poisoning. That's good. Gigi said whatever she has handy for a palette. And that is going to help me adjust the nose and then the eyes. Nose was just a tad bit wide on the nostril. Just a tad wide. Alright, so we're okay with time. I'm probably gonna have a little more than the 2 hours because I gotta go help her help Lucy take down the her craft fair booth at 4. So that means I gotta leave here at the latest by 3:30. So I've got time. And even if I didn't do these little adjustments, it's okay. Call it portrait sketch for a reason. Oh no, another person online. No, not the grocery shopping. Not the grocery shopping. Oh yeah, Angus, that's true. To make them look like they're following you. One facing ahead of the other slightly. Yeah. That's always a really fun thing to do. To make it follow you around. Not the grocery shopping. Oh, you made a Stay Wet palette for a DIY Stay Wet palette for the acrylics. Yeah, palettes can get really creative. Grocery shopping. Just chores in general. Some of us don't like having to do chores. Myself included. Oh, oh yeah, you're right. I did leave the tone there. Yeah, it does make it have that portrait sketch look. I missed the spot. Oh, yeah, I can leave it like that. So I saved all this rendering stuff till the end. Literally, it's the last minute, but I'll stay a little longer than the 2 hours. I have time. I'm not gonna have time to just go and jump to another studio painting like usual, but gotta go help Lucy with her craft fair. But not yet. Still got like 30 minutes. Not yet. And remember, I can't make it tomorrow. At least I don't think so, because Lucy's got off work. I don't have the place to myself. I think tomorrow we'll probably rewatch the what's that anime movie? If it's still in theaters, probably isn't. Uh, the the Demon Slayer one. Forgot the name of the movie. Appreciate all the likes, everybody. So remember, if you can make small adjustments in the portrait like that, become part of the process and less about a mistake, so to speak. It's a little bit I don't know, it's a little bit makes portraiture more fun for me, I guess. You have to learn to see, and we see things in sequence. We don't see the whole picture all at once. At least we think we do, but I don't really think we do. We have to focus on certain tasks, which again, I'm trying to do all that on autopilot. I'm not really that focused on the approach as I am with the methodology, or the mindset, I guess, state of mind. And as I move this mouth up, I will also render it. Your favorite is genuine manganese blue. I don't think I've ever used that one. Sounds like an expensive color. He said, at what stage with a sketch would you call it a day in favor of starting on a commission portrait? Do you mean like at what? When do I decide to what? Call it in for a day in favor of starting on a commission. I like to do the commissions or work on commissions earlier in the day because it gives me a second chance to see any mistakes later in the evening. And I like to do sketches or quick stuff like this, yeah, like around this time. Because it's like right in the middle of the day, so a sketch is a good transition from first part of the day to the next, like the evening. Of course, not everyone gets to have 3 painting sessions a day, but it's a good transition for me. It could be toxic, but I mean, almost all of these paints are toxic if, if they're mishandled. Another person online, you use a glass palette. Oh, I think the question was, at what point do I transition from sketch to like a commission? Like, I start my commissions the same as this. I really don't start any paintings differently anymore. I used to do like the transfer drawing, the grisaille, the underpainting, and now I start pretty much all of them like this. You said you're always changing something when you come back to a sketch. Oh yeah, we always do. The sketch is a photograph which, had it been a commission, is a reference for the commission portrait. Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't really work differently. And what I do when I return, if I see any mistakes, proportion wise, I just use white chalk. Oh, here's the big difference between my more finished stuff versus a sketch like this. I use alkyds for my more finished stuff because I can go through the process faster with the alkyds than with regular oil paint. Yeah, I would work. Yeah, I would make minor adjustments. Um, yeah, and I could actually show you. I've got it behind me. Now this is supposed to be a surprise for the the, the one of the models in here, but this is all Alkyd, and hopefully they don't see, they're not gonna watch this video anyway, but this is all Alkyd. This is the commission, so I can work on it pretty much every day as a new painting that's dry, of course. So yeah, those are more realistic than this. Even though, of course, I only showed you a small sample. But I started just like this. Yeah, I've got a picture of it. I don't know if the picture is going to show up too well on the live stream. Yeah. This was how I drew it, and then this was how I blocked in. I didn't even worry about the faces yet, and then the faces looked like this, and that was the first day, and then I went in with more stuff. So hopefully they don't see this video. I know they won't. They don't watch my videos. So yeah. Yeah, budget's tough. You want to get a wood palette, a bigger one. I like the new wave. What's it called? That round one that they have. I don't know. New Wave creates. They have a huge wooden one. I don't remember what it's called, but you see this, like, this is an enormous palette, and I keep it relatively clean. I just leave the paint on the edges as normal. That's a good size palette for color studies. I hope they'll like the painting. I want to make my own palette. Yeah, you're onto something. I want to make my own. Yeah, I've looked up some wood cutting videos, and I guess you can cut curves with simple tools like a chisel. Of course, I don't want to cut off one of my fingers, but yeah, it's like a chisel. Yeah, you're onto something. I have been researching that. I do want to make my own. As you see, I am a palette aficionado, or whatever you call it. I really like the artistry in palettes. A woodworking friend. Yeah, Lucy's got an uncle that does woodworking, and we've talked about it before. Um, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time I draw my own template for him. And what size? I like 16 by 20. 16 by 20 inches for a palette. It's a big palette, but it's not huge to the point where it's going to be too difficult to travel with. You said the roundness is first with a fret saw, then rasped smooth edges. Yeah, see the finish. That's what I was talking about. I would want the wood to be maybe I don't know. Maybe that's correct. I don't know. I think from what I read and have been experimenting with, if you finish them with linseed oil over time, that the patina like always it continues to evolve. Whereas if you finish it with sealant um, like where you wrote like a polish of some sort, like it'll stay permanent. Like you won't actually be able to generate much of a patina with it. But I don't know, maybe not. The finish that New Wave uses, you can. It does create a patina over time. How they do that, I don't know. Um, I'm not sure how New Wave did that. Impact glue to put a veneer of your choice. Ooh, now we're getting into yes, woodworking. Yeah, I what I would like to do, what I would like to find out is what type of wood and where can I buy it. Like I don't really know much about it. So any experts with um, woodworking, if you know where I can buy like sheets of like pure good quality wood, like maple or I don't know what other type there is. I don't know. All I know is from pools. Maple shaft, keelwood shaft are the only ones I know. But yeah, I want to know. I don't know. Well, where can you buy quality wood sheets from? I don't know where to buy them from. You said you use alkyd resin the first 3 layers, and the rest linseed oil. Oh, that there we go. I guess technically I have been using alkyd because when I clean off my alkyd paints, that's what I use to wipe on the palette. That is what I use. Gotta be mindful of the time. I've got 15 minutes till 3:30. That's when I gotta start driving to Lucy. Oh yeah, good idea. It is a craft fair. Someone's got to have woodworking stuff there. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll walk around and see if someone is a woodworker over there. That I shall do. Usually when I'm clocking out, like it's a yeah, going to help Lucy is like a job. No, 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 that one was a joke. But yeah, I know it was a typo. I must tell you all, this is the one painting in the series that I almost paid no attention to. Because like I said, I tried to work more free, like not really thinking about the process. Um, yeah, I don't know exactly what I did, but we did it. Not the same process, I don't think. Maybe it was. Um, but yeah, I just tried to kind of just wing it, just go off of instinct, subconscious, not so much conscious mind. You said they have all sorts of exotic woods such as cocobola. Oh, that sounds nice. I just want to get like a good sheet that doesn't have any knots, like any obvious knots to it. Because I know that much about like wood, especially with pool cues, pool shafts. You don't really want to have a huge knot like right in the middle of the wood. If I can get something with like good quality, like grain, not like a knot right in the middle, that would be good. Oh wait, I'm supposed to leave that, aren't I? For that, okay, I'll leave that for the effect. Iroko would be a good choice. Iroko. I gotta look that one up. Iroko. Now we're talking. But where do I get it? I mean, do I have to buy them at a craft fair? I don't know. I'm sure there are woodworking shops around here. That's one thing Northern Virginia is good for. It's definitely good for consumerism, that's for sure. You want to buy something? Northern Virginia has it. You want to eat something? Northern Virginia has it. If I find old wood furniture, I can use parts of them to make a pallet. Oh, but wouldn't they be sealed though? Like, I feel like they would be probably sealed with stuff. As a veneer suppliers, if possible, pour some water on the raw material to see when the true color once sealed. Oh, now we're getting to a level I don't understand, but I will try. Water on wood. Huh. You said seals such as varnishes are easily removed. Turpentine is the first choice, then sanding if persistent. Alright. Turpentine, there's a thing that I'm familiar with. Oh, I didn't know. Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, this is something I can get into. Since I do want to create palettes and maybe sell some? No, I don't know. They just take so long to create. I don't think I would sell them. But yeah, that's a good idea. You said old veneers were applied with water-based glue. Oh, that's why that works. See, I thought that the water would damage the wood, but I guess not. Cool. Yeah, I didn't know about all that. Which, that's a good question, Angel. I don't know really. I think the one I would probably use is Nelson Shank's palette because I tried to find one that looks like that, and I think he had a custom woodworker make it for him because it doesn't look like it was made to hold, but it has the thumb hole. So I think he probably designed it like that, like he wanted that look. So the one that Nelson Shanks has, I'd probably use as a template, or had the one I would use as a template, and maybe modify it a little bit. Oh, no problem, Angus. Anytime you want to educate me on anything woodworking, I'm interested. I appreciate the information because I don't even know the first thing to look up, to be honest. Like, what kind of sheets of wood would be good for wooden palette? That was a Google search I did and couldn't find anything. So I gotta write down IRKO. Is that what it is? IROKO. Be on the lookout for those wooden sheets. Ooh, we're cutting it close. I got 3 minutes till I have to start driving to Lucy. I'll see if there's any woodworkers there. This was fun. A little bit longer painting time than usual. Had an extra 30 minutes. Doesn't she just look happy? I mean, it's not an overly smiley picture, but it's enough smile, I guess. She looks happy. Just put a little more pink on the cheeks there. Yeah, no, I don't usually drive fast. I kind of can't. I'm in a Nissan Versa. Charlie Brown. That's funny. Nah, I can't really drive fast in a Nissan Versa. Well, it's time to sign it. It is time to sign. We'll sign it over here. Yeah, luckily mine has been good to me. It's a 2018. Mine has been good to me. Got the signature there. No, don't think I know that song. I guess it's basically anyone from the teak family. Provide a dense surface, even mid-color, responds well to oil paint. Teak family. Alright, I'm going to take a picture of the comment just so I can remember. Got all this Googling to do. I appreciate everybody tuning in on this random Sunday. I know it's not the first time I've been here on a Sunday, but I'm not usually here on Sunday. Usually with Lucy and family, and then I return to studio work. So you understand the struggle. Well, appreciate everybody for joining. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you enjoyed the painting. Just cleaning off some brushes right now. A little bit of Gamsol. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Thank you so much for joining. I wish you all the very best. And I shall see you next time. Oh yeah, I'll definitely give them a hug for you. Thank you, thank you. I shall do that. Alrighty everybody. I'll see y'all next time.